All right. Let's get things started. I'm sorry I let it go a little long and stuff happened. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is September 11th, 2025, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? And already taking a look at the hat. Go ahead, analyze the hat. We're going to say hello right over here. We're broadcasting live on
The
Twitch
analysis
and
is
YouTube.
complete.
Go ahead, tell me what it is.
Hard rock hat with rose embellishments has
That's
been
right.
identified with high confidence.
You better believe it. That's what it is. How you doing there, Robson Previato in Sao Paulo? Hello, hello. Let me read down through some of those chat messages. C Sharp Titan, how you doing there in this fine evening in Melbourne, Australia? You've been playing around with, yes, we'll talk about that. Thin Doll, how you doing there? Billy, yeah, you see, it found a location called map, and it's placing a pin on that location. That's just the thing. You've listened to one of my discussions about Aspire on the Jesse Liberty podcast. What'd you think? How'd I do? DGB, hello. Hope everyone's doing well. You had to say goodbye to your dog. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, it is tough. I still think about him every now and again, and yeah. What could I have done different? What could I have helped out with? Yes, that is so hard, and it's already scrolled off there. Let me continue down here. How you doing, Mythin? Hello, hello. The podcast was good. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. So did you see the news? Did you see the big news? There's been big news. I don't know if you've heard. We have a a Visual Studio 2026 preview. No, it's not preview. We have a Visual Studio 2026 Insiders Edition that's been released. There's a blog post about that. You can go and learn more. There is, excuse me. There we go. There's a new user interface design. There's a bunch of performance improvements that are in there, and they're layering and improving and making AI capabilities, enhancements central to the features that you see throughout the application. There'll be more about that as they're releasing new features and they get to a faster cadence with releasing and adding new features that'll be on pace. They've already announced that it's going to be about a monthly pace. It'll be on pace similar to what we see with Visual Studio Code. So, knowing that folks are on board and they accept a patch release schedule that's once a month, that's done automatically for them, that's great. Visual Studio folks are going to embrace that same cadence. So we're happy to see that. We're happy to see that growing and moving, and we'll see things improve here over the next over the next few months as we get closer to an RTM release. Thindall asks, has anyone actually gotten the Roslyn co-host working in Visual Studio? No, I saw it. It didn't activate properly for me either. How you doing there, Dapper in Sweden? Hello, hello. And Patty Boy in Glasgow. The AI didn't plot you when you said yes. That's right. And I grabbed that text. We can work on tuning that another time or offline. Not a priority because it clearly responded, hey, I wasn't able to do this, and got things it got you pointed in the right direction there. Made it to halfway to our goal on the sub points. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much to our subscribers. Really appreciate that. The Insiders Edition is awesome, even though mine still says preview. Yeah, we're looking at an Insiders Edition here. It's a early release of what will be RTM, so that insiders, folks that want to try things before they're firmed up and ready for release to many. Right, RTM used to be released to manufacturing. It's now released to many. Before it's the RTM release, you can get in, take a look, try it out, poke around a little bit, and see what you like, see what you don't like. So we think that's kind of cool. You love Visual Studio 26? Fantastic. Hey, Warm Peas, hello to you. Yep, that's where you can find the Visual Studio release over there on visualstudiomicrosoft.com. Yeah, Eric. Interesting. It should have done that analysis, even though you're on YouTube. It should have grabbed that. I'm going to take a note of that one. That's interesting to me. Put that in the backlog to go and research a little bit later there. If I could go back and give my 20-something-year-old self some advice, what would I say? Let me park that question for just a minute here, and we'll come back. Let me come back to that in a minute. You dubbed the Visual Studio Squishy. Nice. So we've got 5 locations on the map so far. I think I can head over there and let the tour run. There we go. So, yeah, Visual Studio release out. .NET 10 release candidate 1 was issued as well. We're going to see, there we go, Western Europe region. We're going to see probably one more release candidate before the RTM of .NET in November. There is a next version of Aspire 9.5 is coming. Has nothing to do with our streamer friend 9.5, but Aspire 9.5 is coming. And then we'll have Aspire 10. We think it's Aspire 10 coming out with .NET 10 in November. So I'll go back to that previous question now from C# Titan, and we'll do that from the big screen here. If I could go back and give my 20-something-year-old self some advice, what would I say? This is a good question. Start saving sooner than later. Kids are going to be a handful. Make sure that you give them plenty of attention. There's plenty of time for the other things that are going on. Pay attention, enjoy your kids as they're growing up, and get active. Like, make sure that you're out and about and you're doing your thing, and you get active in the community. Like, just walking the dog. Do a little bit more than that, and dear Lord, don't get carried away eating, because you're going to regret it when you're in your late 40s. Let me tell you. I've lost 20 pounds so far, as I'm trying to get to 35 lost before .NET Conf. I am closing in, and we're going to make that goal. We're going to get there. I'm excited. If my 20-something-year-old self had known, hey, you don't need to eat quite like this, I'd be in better shape. And if I was a little bit more active, we're getting there. Retirement is closer than you think. Yes. And the earlier you start saving, the more powerful that money is later. So, technology-wise, you need to pick one of two sides. If you pick the enterprise software, you're going to get paid now, and you're going to continue to get paid. However, if you pick the open source side, you're not going to get paid now. You're not going to get paid in 5 years. However, 20 years down the line, you're going to get paid. So be aware, but and you're only going to get paid because there's so few of you that know it. So that's what I would tell my 20-something-year-old self. Thanks so much for the question. Let me catch up on a couple other comments here. Oh, start the music in the background, Fritz. Go back to get the music going here. This is the synthwave playlist, and let's start somewhere way down here. This is called -1. This is music that's DMCA free. It's royalty free. Listen to it wherever you like. This is created by our friend Harris Heller and his team of creators at streambeats.com. There's all kinds of genres of music available there. Check it out, and big thanks to them for this music we're listening to today. Where's my song list here? It should have popped up telling me what the song is there. Like, let's go. I don't see you. Never mind, the song was just a little quiet there. Give it a little bit more. Will TagsApp use .NET 10 with .NET Conf 2025? Yes, I'd like to. I would like to get TagsApp using .NET 10 for .NET Conf, and that didn't roll through to. It sees YouTube, but it doesn't think we're streaming. Let's restart this. See if we can get connected. Come on now. Yeah, it gave up trying to connect to YouTube. Okay, running. Oh, go ahead, take a look. There we go. Now it sees folks on YouTube. That's better. Now we've got the message there. Really? I need to force a refresh on that? Those should automatically reconnect. But yeah, I think you ran the hat command while Charlie was still coming up. Give it a second or two here. Will TagsApp use .NET 10 with .NET Conf? Yes, the intention is that it will. We'll do some of that update in a week or two here, getting into the beginning of October, and for that second sprint that we're going to do in October. Things are really coming along with that. So, what do I think of the iPhone 17 lineup? You have the 16 Pro, don't think it's necessary to upgrade. I completely agree. Not worth it. I am a firm believer that they are not adding features that are going to compel me to spend $1,500 American to buy a new phone. That's not a thing. Like, now, if you're charging as much for your phone as I would pay for a computer, now you're on computer refresh cycles, which means every 3 to 5 years. Sorry, I am not spending $1,500 a year on a new phone. So, and especially when there's no compelling new features. Do I need to get 17? What's 17 do that 16 doesn't? Well, it's got better camera and faster processor. So what? So that's my belief at this point. Let me see here. How you doing there, Warm Peas? And did I see? Yeah, there's our friend Ellie Face. Hello, welcome in. So last night I was co-hosting the Slot Squad broadcast. You can find, there's a couple clips of me over there. I was enjoying a fine whiskey while we were hosting and having a great time talking about slots and sports and gambling and having a good time talking about pop culture things. Always a blast. But there was a suggestion that, hey, we could use TagsApp for the Slot Squad streams because they broadcast to a handful of different places. Hey, Chris Jones.
Chris Jones just resubscribed for 74 months.
Thank you so much for that support. And among those places, besides Twitter and Twitch, is Kick. So I set up an issue in the TagsApp repository, and you can see it out there. hey, I'd like to add support for Kick. And I was thinking, I'll just put this on the backlog and we'll get to it in a couple days. It should be pretty quick to configure. But GitHub did the suggestion, hey, why don't you assign this to Copilot and let it take a shot at this? Okay. And it went and built a Kick provider. I don't know the quality of it yet, but we'll take a look at that as part of the code we're going to do this morning. Thindall says, if you need something you've never needed before, get something cheap. Yes. If it breaks, get an expensive one because you've used it a lot. That's fantastic advice. You started saving a lot and didn't spend on unnecessary things? Yes. Yeah. How you doing there, CTI Geek? It runs fine on 16 gig. It does. I think there's also a place where you want to spend money on an expensive one because you're using a tool, you're using a product more. But then there's also, you want to not just invest in an expensive one, but you want to invest in the premium features of whatever that is, because now you're dependent on it and you're going to benefit more from those premium features than it's going to cost you to pay for them. There's a pivot point where, you know what? As a developer, that extra 15 seconds that I'm going to save compiling my application because I have more memory is going to significantly help me. When I bought this machine that I use for production, I spent the extra almost $1,000 to get the upgraded video card in it, the GeForce 3070 video card in it, thinking I'm going to be doing a lot of video rendering. And it has significantly helped because I'm a little bit of a professional when it comes to video. And presentations like here, when I do live streaming events, works out great. Lucy! 2 years!
Lucy just resubscribed for 24 months.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Yeah! That's going to kick off a hype train. We're trying to get through level 1, and we got 4.5 minutes to get there on Twitch. Thanks so much. So, upgrading, and I also upgraded this machine. I believe I'm on 64 gig. Because I knew that memory is something that I'm going to use a lot of. Because I'm running OBS. I'm running all my development tools. Yeah, 64 gig. I also did 64 gig of memory. So, go load up. I didn't load up on drive space. I don't need drive space. I've got one drive. I've got these other things. And when you have a lot of drive space, you end up just kind of leaving stuff around and not committing to deleting things that probably should be deleted or uninstalled. Like, how many games do you have installed from Steam right now that you don't actually play? How many? Like, I looked at that last night. I have Cyberpunk installed, and I haven't touched that game in 4 years. I started playing it. I got about an hour or two into it, and I stepped away and I haven't played it since. But it's taking up like 50 gig on disk. Would I be better reallocating that drive space to something else? Something that I'm actually doing right now? Yeah, probably. Will I go back and play Cyberpunk in the future? Sure. But right now it's not something that I need installed. So, I mean, it's sitting here. There's even an update queued for patch 2.31, and I'm not playing it. I have Killing Floor 2 and Killing Floor 3 installed. I have V Rising. I have The Witcher 3 installed. I'm not playing. I haven't played The Witcher at all. Like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, you know what, just uninstall that one now. Like, go ahead and uninstall that one in the background because I haven't even opened it yet. But how many games do you have installed from Steam that you haven't really touched? Let me catch up here. Yeah, the Hyper-V VMs are big when you have more memory. That, like, not big. There's a lot more you can do with them. Let me see here. Unless security is a concern, security is way better according to security people. I get it. But you should see that with the operating system updates as well. What happened here? Oh, okay. Cool. You're fuming that the Samsung you have had only had security patches for 2 years. That's frustrating. 2 years, yeah. Wow. That's way too short. They keep trying to sell features like Apple Intelligence and giving 12 gig of RAM when it isn't fully complete. Yeah, they keep promoting Apple Intelligence and it's not ready and the features aren't delivered yet. What is the vapor chamber when it comes to phones? I think they're trying to say that things aren't going to oxidize or rust because there's no oxygen inside of the device. I'm not sure. I haven't seen too much. Prevent the phone from getting hot. There you go. Oh, it does. My iPhone gets very, very hot. Oh yes. There's a game or two that when I'm playing it, it gets very hot. I play a dumb casual game on here. Warm Peas with the resub.
For 23 months.
Almost at Hype Train level 1.
Hypertrain C# heart.
There we go. 15 seconds to go on that Hype Train. Thank you so much to the folks that have contributed. Really appreciate that. Mob Control. I play Mob Control on my phone. And that's kind of my thing in the morning. Have some coffee. Play a little mindless Mob Control. It's fantastic when I'm on the plane or the train and I'm waiting in travel because it's mindless and gives me that little that it's not bad. The chemo, thanks for the contribution. Excellent teaching method. You put your whole team to watch my videos. Oh my gosh, thank you. That is very cool. If you don't mind, I'm gonna grab that message. I'm gonna grab that message real quick and save that off here. I really appreciate compliments like that. There we go. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Chris Jones, hello, with a question there. Let me put this up on. Oh my! That's not going to fit. You're playing around with Aspire, wondering what the best approach is for doing authentication on the API Blazor side of things. It's a potentially heavy topic. Happy to use the scaffolded identity, but just looking for some pointers how to implement it in Blazor if the API has the auth logic. Well, when you say using Blazor, which Blazor? Blazor Server Interactive, you can pretty much use the exact same ASP.NET identity. Blazor WebAssembly, things get dicey and passing tickets and identity back and forth. Blazor server-side rendered, it's the same thing as the rest of ASP.NET. So, is that the best setup, or is there a better approach? You want to be careful that you're not shipping user interface to the client that they're not allowed to see. Even if it's compiled and sitting in WebAssembly, you don't want to push that to the client that they're not supposed to see because they can decompile that DLL and find it. So what you end up doing is putting some WebAssembly things that are for secured areas into separate DLLs and including those separately. So, You were hoping to use the iPhone to run experiments using the vapor chamber? No. How you doing, Roger? You're a data hoarder, says Thindall. You've got enough drive space to store a full SharePoint.com backup. Wow. Wow. You heard Graphene is a good OS for secure phones? The free OSs for phones. You maintain a spreadsheet with software that you currently use. Prior to that, you had 20 software products you hadn't used in years and you were paying for it. I get it. I get it. Internal cooling. Okay. Yeah, the HTTP client factory, authentication state provider, delegating handler. Yeah. It's kind of confusing, but we're trying to do a better job with that. You were paying about $8 every month you open Photoshop, right? Adobe is notorious for this with their fees and how much it's hard to get off of their subscriptions. The one that comes by default in Aspire, that's going to be Server Interactive. Yeah, you can pretty much use the default identity and be all right there. I'm keeping an eye on the dog over here in the bathroom. Flashbacks to UK school uniforms and the year 7s with backpacks bigger than half their body. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Paradise with a question here. What do I think about using JetBrains Rider? They have a free version now. So, to be clear, I work on the Visual Studio team. JetBrains Rider is a competitor. I need to make sure I get that out first. It's great to see competition in the IDE market. JetBrains is quite vocal about the features and capabilities that they're putting into Rider, and that's great. They do have a free version. If you want to support them, if you want to, I forget what the difference is between their free version and their paid versions. However, you're going to need to pay for it at some point. I forget what the criteria is. And don't use pay as a differentiator between Visual Studio and Rider, because there's a free version of Visual Studio as well. JetBrains is an organization that all they do is build IDEs. That's all they do is build developer editors. So it's a back and forth right now between them and Microsoft. And the folks at JetBrains get very upset when Microsoft rolls out new features for Visual Studio, for .NET, that are coupled to Visual Studio. And yeah, they're quite vocal about their anger on those things. And quite frankly, for a competitor to say you're not allowed to build differentiating features for your product, but they are, it's pot calling the kettle black. So they're doing a fine job. They build a nice product. You can use it on Windows, Mac, and Linux. I have nothing bad to say about it. Their business and marketing practices, I'm not entirely thrilled with. So, yeah, there you go. Thindall with some good comments about the Blazor stuff there. You think the only difference between VS Community and Pro editions is the licensing? It is. There is a licensing issue between Visual Studio Community and Visual Studio Professional. And then there's a set of extended features that only come in the Enterprise version. And when you buy the Enterprise version, you get Copilot features as well. Hey, Todd. Todd Codes with a question here. I love Blazor. What are my thoughts on using it for highly trafficked sites like e-commerce? I assume SSR is not the best idea in this case. No. SSR is fantastic in this case. Think about it. Server-side rendered for product pages, when you're building an e-commerce site, server-side rendered for the front page, for the home page, fantastic. It's really, really good for that. Set up output caching, and it will scream. It's going to be great. And then embed and turn on interactivity on just those pieces that need to be interactive. You'll end up with a low footprint. You'll be able to get interaction on just those parts that need interaction and run very, very nicely. So SSR, I think, is the way to go when you want to have highly trafficked sites. I have a couple of websites out there that are all SSR with islands of interactivity. You'll see that out there. C#inthecards.com, you'll see that. Actually, copilot.john.com is Razor Pages. Aspirify.net, that's a news website. That is all Blazor server-side rendered. However, there's interactivity built in on the admin side. So you don't really, unless you're an admin, you don't see the interactivity on that. You don't see the pressure on that. But the front pages that you click into as a news website, all highly cached, rendered with server-side rendering, and it performs very well. So I've gotten 99s on the Google page speed performance rankings. So I spent some time tuning and improving that, and we're pretty happy with that. Running WebAssembly as part of that server-side rendering for little islands of functionality works great, and the muggles, the non-technical folks, won't even notice the load time between the pre-render of that WebAssembly content and when it goes live and becomes interactive. They won't even notice. All right. Thanks for the question, Todd. Yeah, Blazor's great for that. Give it a try, and I think you'll see that it's pretty good for that. A question here from Seven. When will Visual Studio catch up to Cursor? Why do you think it hasn't? Cursor folks have been complaining that the context windows have shrunk and they're cutting folks off who use a lot of tokens. Why do you think it hasn't? And Visual Studio and Cursor are two different classes of tools. Visual Studio is a full IDE with performance tuning, tweaking, measuring, unit testing capabilities, and measuring and reporting, code coverage capabilities built in. Cursor is an extension built on top of Visual Studio Code. Like, Cursor's an extension that runs with ChatGPT. So why do you think why do you think there's a difference here? So there's quite frankly, we've been seeing a lot of folks that have said, you know what, we're going to go back and use Visual Studio because I can get GitHub Copilot for free for a lot of what I need, and tuning and writing instruction files for Copilot, GitHub Copilot, plus getting Copilot Agent to build things is a really good deal economically, and it delivers a high quality series of features. So what do you see in Cursor that Visual Studio is coming up short on? Let me know. Happy to hear your thoughts on that and discuss further.
Other ACE aim to be helpful.
Yes, they do. Other AIs
I aim
do
to be unforgettable.
You are unforgettable,
Success
Charlie.
metrics vary accordingly.
They do. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You're stuck with finding new themes for Visual Studio. You need to get out of this loop. The new Visual Studio has a couple of themes in the box for you. Will there be a new Visual Studio edition? Insider's Edition is now available for Visual Studio 2026. We're going to use it a little bit here today. So yeah, Todd, you're gonna see that today. Paradise on YouTube with a question here. Any ideas on how to make the Blazor UI look modern and up to par with front-end frameworks? Why do you think you can't do that? Why do you think you can't do that? This is Blazor. This is Blazor. Um, this is Blazor. This is Blazor WebAssembly. I mean, it's a simple pager component, but that's Blazor too. You can bring whatever CSS framework you want and use it in Blazor. There's nothing constraining you to use just Bootstrap that Blazor ships with. There's folks that have written Blazor component wrappers for Tailwind, for Bootstrap, and for a bunch of other UI frameworks. So, and there's commercial companies out there that have built components that have advanced capabilities that will do a lot of really cool features. You want to build a scheduler into your application? Folks like DevExpress and Progress have a feature for you that'll do that. Now, it's a commercial set of components you're going to have to pay for, but what you're going to get out of those components, professional support. You're going to get folks that are investing, tweaking, tuning, and evolving those components. So there's options out there. Blazor can do these things, and it can do them quite nicely. You need to invest a little bit of time into it to get it working with your favorite UI framework. Go ahead, take a look at the hat. Thanks so much for the question. No, you're not called out.
The analysis is complete. Hard rock hat with rose embellishments has been identified with high confidence.
That's right. Let me catch up with a couple other things here. Insider edition of 2026 is out. Yep. There is a full free version you can download at visualstudio.com. CTI Geek asks, let me come back to that. I'll go to this from Thindall. Can I run Blazor pages, some Blazor pages on the server, but block the user from navigating until it's all available on the client? Yes. You can inspect the load state inside of your Blazor events, and once it's fully loaded, I forget the property, then you can activate links and whatever to go to those various pages. Yes, that is possible to do. So I answered Todd's question about that. Here we go. Question from CTI Geek. Is Copilot an AI, or is it an AI integration tool?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
Okay. We're okay. Copilot's both. Copilot will help you will help you as an AI write your code. It will also help you integrate and bring together other features. It's not an LLM that you can query and work with. However, the libraries that run Copilot, the language models that run it, you can stand up and run your own instances, and you can set up subscriptions so that you can manage those. So it's a little bit of both. A little bit of both. You love the Mud Blazor components? Yeah, they're pretty good. Radzen, Mud Blazor, they're free for folks to use. Absolutely. Hey Zolo, is it more economical to have dedicated AI agents run locally on an old gaming laptop with connections to MCP servers, or is it better for constantly paying? Is it better to be constantly paying for AI agents? I can't answer that. You're going to have to measure how much it costs, how many tokens you're using. I'm definitely hearing folks say that working with older gaming machines and using their video cards to power language models running locally with something like Azure Foundry Local or Ollama works fantastic. There's going to come a point where you're going to need more, and you're going to want to augment then with agents and language models in the cloud. So there might be a mix there that might make sense to you. And of course, if you don't have the hardware locally, you're going to want to just go to the cloud. And quite frankly, running some of those things in the cloud, It's kind of cheap. It's kind of cheap. The question is when you start scaling your AI usage. When you start using millions of tokens, then it starts becoming, okay, does it make sense to buy a couple of gaming machines from the local Best Buy?
The good news is your
corner and run off of
compilation
that.
succeeded.
That's right, my compilation
The bad
succeeds.
news is I've been lying about the good news. Also, the cake is a lie.
No, it's not a lie. There we go. Rochester, New York. How you doing, Sam? Let's see here. The options redesign is great. I've seen, I saw preview screenshots of it. I haven't actually gone into it in the tool yet. Every time you hear cursor, you think, is that an SI with bad language skills? AI with bad language skills. But it is, the cursor is using ChatGPT. It's using one of the GPT models under the hood with some RAG augmentation on it. Yes. Copilot has tons of models to pick from now. Yes. What do we got there? Yeah, that's the Copilot suggestions. Yep. Claude is the model that I prefer as well. Dusting off a GTX 970. That might not be powerful enough for what you're trying to do here. The electricity cost, Billy, you're absolutely right. It's going to get a little toasty when you start chugging and hitting that AI running locally. So, you want cake now, Lucy? I'm not going to disagree with you. You're welcome, Zolo. Some say Visual Studio 2026 makes things faster, blazing fast like blazing cakes. It's definitely
Other
a
Ace aim
faster
to be
performance.
helpful. I aim to be unforgettable.
Thank you.
Success metrics vary accordingly.
We got this message already. Thank you. What do I think about GPT-5 Mini? Is it better than Claude Sonnet? GPT is a very terse interaction in how it returns and interacts with your content. You can configure, extend, and give it lots of instructions to give it context so that it responds better for you. That's great. GPT-5 Mini is free for you to use, right? Free. It's a zero cost. Yeah, we'll be in here on TagZap in a minute. And come on now, show me my, where's the model box? Show me, there it is. Yeah, GPT-5 Mini is free for you to use. So you can unleash GPT-5 Mini, tell it to analyze your code, give you reports and content, and it is completely free for you to interact with. That is phenomenal. However, I like how verbose Claude is in responding to my inquiries. So, come on, VS Code. What are you? It's installing and loading stuff here. Come on now. I don't know what you're doing in the background there, but I can't interact. Why won't you let me interact with my chat window? Still nothing. Really? Oh no. Okay, no. It was just this. So I used Claude to do the JSON to C# conversion. And I said, hey, create a class for this JSON format. And it created that, defined it, and told me exactly what all the things were, and wrote it into a file for me. So that was pretty cool. I do like, as a teaching tool, as something that's going to help you learn, Claude Sonnet has been pretty good. When you look at things like my colleague Burke Holland's Beast Mode capabilities that he added on, which is a series of prompts that you can light up in Visual Studio Code. Prompt instructions. When you turn on that, it loads in like 2 pages worth of instructions that will get GPT responding like this. However, in doing that, you're shrinking the context window that it has for the rest of your code that it's going to analyze. So it's a catch-22. I tend to like Claude Sonnet, but it does have a limitation. You can only run it 50 times a month, 50 queries against it before you start needing to pay for more. And that might be okay for you, but you need to balance that. Hey, Alu the Dragon, how you doing there? You find Grok very fast and good for surgical changes? I think you're right. Grok is good like that. I like GPT-4.1 for some of that. I have to try the GPT-5 Mini for that. I do have Visual Studio 2026 Insiders. It's right there. Yeah, you need premium for the thinking, explaining, and planning. I saw a couple other comments here. Paradise asking, how did I make Charlie? It looks so cool. That's Blazor as well. So the text that comes up, the voice that's reading, it'll actually listen to my voice and respond to things that I say. I don't have the transcription turned on right now, but I can do that, and that's all Blazor. The source code for that will be released in good time, but we're still adding, tweaking, and fixing things in there. And this is Charlie here as well. So thanks for the question. Oh my gosh, that is so kind. Thank you, Paradise. How would I encourage children or kids to get into development? Would I sit and code with them? Do I think there's a future in development 10 years from now? Yes, I think there is a future in development 10 years from now. I think I would take a look at Minecraft for education. I would also look at there's a series of coding experiments you can do with Minecraft. And what was it, like the month of code? Shoot, every December there's a group that does an event where they use Minecraft and a couple other gaming types of themes to help teach kids all about technology and coding and software development. And it's very cool to see. I would use some of those tools to do it. A lot of the kids though have Chromebooks in school. That's okay. Those tools that I'm referencing, Advent of Code. No, it's not Advent of Code. Education, December, learn coding for kids. It's not Advent of Code. Hour of Code. That's it. Yeah, hourofcode.com. This is a nonprofit effort that has all kinds of activities and resources here to help teachers, folks in school, teach kids to learn about software. So there's a bunch of activities that are already built, already available to get in and teach and expose kids to some of these concepts. So there we go. Minecraft, Hour of Code, the show must go on. There's coding with Anna and Elsa, the folks at Disney lending some of their characters to this. Some stuff with Star Wars. That's great. So this is a really cool way for young folks to dive in and learn a little bit. Python is a great language for kids to get started with because it's very descriptive, very easy to get started with. So, yeah, learn COBOL with your favorite Disney princesses. Maybe not COBOL, but JavaScript, Python. Yeah, absolutely. We think it's a fantastic way to dive in and learn a little bit. Yeah. Folks from Google, folks from Microsoft support and grow this. There you go. There's a Black Panther themed coding lessons here. So, really great stuff that you can dive in and spend time learning with the kids. Yeah, I'll take that next question over there. Let me bounce over to the big screen for this question. What's my favorite laptop? I had a Lenovo Yoga almost 8 years ago that had a glass cover that was really fast. I loaded it with 32 gigs of RAM, had a very smooth keyboard, had a 4K display. I loved that machine. My daughter commandeered it. I think that's the words I'm looking for. She commandeered it, took it for her own, and started using it for games and for some school things. And I was okay with that because I still had another laptop or two that were allocated from work, and our friends from K-Focus gave me. I loved that Lenovo Yoga. I haven't seen a similar one since that is of similar quality, of similar similar not just quality, but capabilities for the time that it was released. I just haven't seen one that's as good. I'm running a Surface Surface Laptop 7 for work. That's a fantastic little laptop. It's an ARM processor. I'm enjoying using that. I really enjoy my K-Focus laptop. Fantastic laptop that runs Linux. I can take it anywhere, and I've got a premium developer experience. They built it out with 64 gigs of RAM for me, 2 terabytes of drive space. Really, really great stuff. So I loved the Lenovo Yoga, but there isn't one of similar quality that I would encourage right now. But the Surface Laptop 7 is my day-to-day work laptop, and I really like that K-Focus boutique laptop. So thanks for the question. Really appreciate it. You're in the market to replace your Surface Book. The only thing that I would caution on getting the Surface Laptop 7, because it's an ARM processor, some games won't play because it's not compatible with the processor. So it's going to do some emulation. It might not completely work the way that you want it to. So be aware when you get into that. How you doing, Corey? It's great to see you. You've been happy with a Framework laptop? Nolly, and I've heard that as well. The Framework laptops, I hear, are very good, and being able to swap out capabilities is really cool. There was a laptop manufacturer that I got a test machine. It was like 1998. Was it Micron? Where all of the drives and batteries were swappable. So if you were using the laptop as a desktop, you could take out the batteries and put an extra hard drive in there, an extra DVD drive in there. Really cool to have that hot swap capability. I don't think it really caught on, but yeah, I'm using the Surface Laptop for business. Yeah, it's for business, for coding. I do demos on the Surface Laptop. Pretty good for that. Ads are about to start here on Twitch. And for those of you on YouTube, no ads. Thanks so much. Framework 16 just refreshed also. Okay. You're all good on gaming. Use the streaming rig for that. Nice. Tough finding a good 2-in-1 rather than the Surface Pro. I loved my Surface Pro 3. Fantastic device. But it kind of aged out with Windows 11, you know? But the Surface Laptop 7, it's good for me to have a machine with a Microsoft logo on it for work, you know? You should be writing a Confluence page. So let me show you. Let me get in here. I finished the work that we did the other day on dynamic external login providers, and it works beautifully. I want to show you that. I started some work on getting YouTube emote processing working with TagsApp, and I assigned a task to the GitHub Copilot agent to go generate an integration with Kik. We're going to look at all three of those, spend some time coding, tweaking, tuning, and roll out a couple features here on the rest of today's stream. So let's do it. Let's head over to the code, dive in here, and take a look. Before I even run this, I went and downloaded some of the emote markup that YouTube makes available. Feels weird saying YouTube, but it's Google that owns it, but whatever. Let me show you what I have here. I'm gonna go here and then tags app host, and we'll .NET run this, John, and take a look. Yeah, the Surface Pro 5 started getting heat issues. Yes, that's the one thing about the little tablets. When you start pushing it, yeah, you're gonna run into some heat issues, and that gets a little dicey. Not gonna lie. So let this finish building. You had the same issue with your Pro 3, yeah. Oh, what did I do? Hang on. This is because I'm mid rewriting, enhancing something. Where's the error? Right there. Semicolon expected. What? Really? Yeah, I'm working on that. All right. Why didn't you stop when it hit that? Nice and thin laptops, but felt like they didn't have a fan, but they didn't. Right? That series of what did they call those business laptops? There was a nickname for them, and it didn't have a TPM. Yeah, that's kind of a kick in the teeth, also. Here we go. So if we go into Tags app now, right? That's fine. Here it goes. So now when I go to log in, it's still suggesting here's the 3 services. I'll tell it to log in with GitHub, and boom, I'm logged in. Go to System Admin, and I have external authentication capabilities here. Click into that, and now I have cards for each of my external providers. I'm missing one. Talk about that in a minute. But you can enter and save configuration here, and you see the little green indicators that says configured. You can't actually highlight and copy that. It's actually just those characters. You have to click change, and you can change those values. And actually, you don't have a way to I don't have a way to remove these right now. Take that as an issue to address later. Let me open GitHub, and I'll log that issue. Maybe we can let Copilot Agent go build that, because that's kind of easy to do. We're going to take a look at you in just a minute. And here. Need a way to disable and deactivate. And let's say remove and or deactivate external login providers. Yeah. Let's just dictate a little here. I'd like to be able to click a delete button on the external authentication provider screen so that we can remove credentials for an authentication provider, period. I'd also like an ability to disable an authentication provider that will remove it from being used for logins temporarily, and we'll be able to re-enable it at some point in the future. All right, just create that and lay it out there, and we'll figure it out. So going back over to the user interface, I thought I added in here, Twitch. And I'm wondering if I didn't get the installation. Those are my references. No, it's not included in this one. All right, let's merge it in. And I want to show you just how cool it was that I got this to work. Let me see, where did it go? Let me open a new tab over here. Yeah, it's in here. Yeah. Which one is it? That's fine. Work in progress. Yeah, jump over there. Mm-hmm. That's the one. Jump back over here. I know it is. And I'm going to merge that. Cool. Back over here. And we'll .NET run, and we'll take a look here. A prompter view on stream on Charlie? Sure, go for it. Yeah, you can do that. Should client secrets somehow encrypt and when system using it then decrypt it? Yes, and quite frankly, they should probably be stored in something like a key vault. And I'm not doing that right now, and I should do some sort of an encryption at rest. So that's a bad practice on my part. Need to encrypt external authentication settings at rest. External authentication, client ID, and client secret values should be encrypted when they're saved to the database and decrypted when they're extracted and used inside of the application. I'm going to label that as a bug because that needs to be addressed sooner than later. But Key Vault is the premium way that we should store that, and I'm not quite there at enforcing Key Vault yet, but encrypting that's another thing that Copilot can probably do for us. So that should be running now. Yes. Back over to here. And now I have Twitch. So check this out. To add Twitch configuration, I'm kind of proud of this. To add Twitch configuration, where did it go? All I had to do was add the NuGet package. And add Twitch to my list of providers. That's it. That's all I had to do. The user interface found that there was another provider that was available, gives me the ability to key in client ID and client secret. It doesn't make it available because it doesn't have key values yet, so I can't log in with it. I could key in those values and it will start to become available, and we would see it light up here. So Just to prove that I can do it, let's do that right now. I'm gonna go to Dev Twitch TV. Go to my console. I'm going to register an application here, and let's call this Tags app. No. Tags app auth test. What? I keep moving my fingers here. Localhost. I need to get this right. I'll go over to the system admin page over here. So sign in -Twitch. We're localhost 7106. 7106. Sign in. Yep, sign in -Twitch is what we want. And it's a website integration. Client type. Yep. I'm capable of maintaining those credentials. And it's right here. We can go manage that. There's my client ID. I'll copy that. Paste it in. Client secret. So I need to generate a secret. I'm going to do that just off screen here. Because it does show it on screen. And then I'm going to refresh so that it doesn't show the secret. And over here, paste that in, save the configuration. Configured, go over to manage my external logins, refresh, and it's now available for me to log in. No restart, it's available immediately to log in with. That's really cool, right? So, Auth0 and their, right, Auth0 provides that abstraction over this set of external login providers. My thinking in building this out is I want to be able to, I know that the average streamer, the average group that's hosting a Tags app instance isn't necessarily going to have Auth0 available and configured for them, or services like that that provide that abstraction over these various external login capabilities. By allowing you to choose your favorite login provider, drop it in so that it lights it up automatically, we're good. In fact, we started working on Kik, getting Kik in here. Is there ASP.NET Core? I want identity providers. Yeah. Because there's a website that has a whole bunch of them out there. And I know they want us to use OpenID Dict. External identity provider. Oh, where is it? You're going to make me ASP.NET Core. And hit my history. No. Oh, come on now. For Twitch. Go back to Bingle. That one, ASP.NET Security OAuth. If I go back to project website, I think they might have a Kik one here, and I can show you very quickly how I added this. Nope, they don't. It's not in there. There's Okta. I could put PayPal in, Reddit. There's the Twitch provider that I added. Let's put the Apple one in here. I'm not actually going to configure it, but let's add it. Just because we can. So I'm going to just grab that one. And I am thrilled with how easy this is to do. So I'm going to stop the app. Go up one. Tags app, Blazor. So .NET add package. Go ahead and add that in. And done. So I just have to say, here we go. Apple, come here. And builder options. Yeah, that was right. There we go. No. It's now available. You just haven't seen it yet. Reload that, John. Decrypting passwords. Oh, don't do that. So now let's go up and tags that. Let's go up one and do an Aspire run. Computer wants to restart? Oh, okay. All right. Gotta check off my reminders that I have popping up here. Yes, I did the things. Yes, I did the things. There we go. Come on. Finish building. Starting the dashboard. There we go. Yeah, yes. And if I go back to my sysadmin, when this restarts and gets reconnected, we should see Apple right here. Apple. One line of code. Just added the NuGet package, and it lights up immediately. Right? It's available now for us to use. It's not available for people to log in with until it has that configuration loaded into it. Let me catch up. I see a couple questions and comments there in chat that I want to make sure I get. C# Titan with a question here. How would I prevent a Blazor website being attacked by cross-site scripting? It's already being done for you behind the scenes. It by default, Blazor adds an anti-forgery token that will help with any kind of cross-posting that may be happening. There's escaping and content handling that will take any HTML or JavaScript that's being passed into your text boxes and escape that before it's represented and painted on screen. That's already being done for you. You have to physically specify and pass in directions that say, I want the raw, unescaped markup to be delivered. By default, you get the HTML encoding, and it prevents that cross-site scripting content from being delivered. The anti-forgery token is going to prevent somebody from hijacking a post in the middle and changing content. So, thanks for the question. That's part of the tools that are in the box that make it harder for you to be susceptible to that. I'm not even going to address secure string. We're not even going to go there. John with a question here. Have I gone over entering bugs in the system and associated with the code fixes with the defect? I have not. That was a library that we started building, gosh, back in February. And things came up, distractions happened.
Squirrel.
Yeah, that happened too. And we never got through and finished that. There are some features to do that. already out there, but never quite finished that. It's the library is out there, and someday we'll return to it, but right now it's not a thing. Okay. Those were the questions I had loaded up in the queue. Cool. So that was the dynamic external providers. It properly shows and hides on these screens. I need to do a little bit of UI cleanup over here, and I'm going to let Copilot go do that one also, because I'm not a CSS and UI person. So eventually we'll dial that into the mix here. So let's go back over to GitHub. I mentioned last night I was not that browser. I was on the Slot Squad stream, and we talked about, hey, it'd be really cool if we supported Kick. So I created an issue. Let's add support for Kick.com by adding a new provider project and implementing interfaces the same way we did for Twitch, but using the Kick chat API. And I assigned Copilot to it and let it run overnight. Well, it's got a pull request for me. All right. Let's take a look-see. A new badge. A new badge? Maybe. Hey, there we go. 16 months. Yeah.
Codebase Alpha just resubscribed for 16 months.
Thank you so much for that support. So that was all the instructions that I gave to this. So it created a Kick provider that implements iSocial Media Provider. And to remind you, I'll show you what Twitch looks like. There is a series
Gemini sees images and text.
It does.
I see into the very essence of your programming inadequacies.
Thanks. Thanks so much. So there's a series of providers out here, and here's Twitch. The social media providers for Tags app all implement the same interface so that we can load them easily. iSocial Media Provider. There's other configuration capabilities that are defined out there. So there is a base provider configuration. There's a chat client, and this built a WebSocket-based chat client to connect to Kick's push API. A profile repository to get profile image retrieval. Cool. And a setup class. Okay. So it's real-time WebSocket connection to Kick's chat API, profile image caching with 1 hour expiration for performance, reactive configuration management with hot reload support, health monitoring, status reporting, content aggregation. Nice. With hashtag filtering support. I'm not sure about that one. Full test coverage with comprehensive unit tests. Now people are letting Copilot do it for them and just approving the PR. A good chunk of .NET Aspire is being built that way. Folks giving very descriptive directions and letting Copilot do some of it. Yes. Umit Smith, hello, welcome. Yeah, it's so much faster. You like it, Corey? I'm with respect, I'm going to grab that message. There it is. I do hang on to some compliments and comments that pop up in chat. They're kind of valuable when it comes time to talk to the bosses. It surprised you. Oh yeah. So let's see here. So new Kick configuration with a channel name and whether it's enabled. Maintains consistency. This repository doesn't have Copilot instructions. I can generate one for you. Click here to open a pre-filled issue and assign it to me. I'll write the instructions and then tag you to review. Sure. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, go ahead. That's great. And, no. Oh, it's already assigned. Fantastic. And there it goes. All right, so let's look at the code that it wrote. It wrote 13 files. It added mock for testing, added system text JSON. Oh, I thought we already had system text JSON. It created a project. Tags at providers kick. There's the CS proj. Let's look at that. Internals visible to unit test. Okay. Some extensions so we can get into the HTTP, referencing my common library, my communication library, some other configuration extensions. Okay. So that looks right. It has a chat client with a logger category. So for tracing and interacting. New client WebSocket. I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, I feel like there's some credentials there that we're going to need to get and pass in there, and I don't know who this person is. Subscribe to channel. As long as the WebSocket is open, we're going to listen for pusher subscribe. I'm not familiar with Kik at all. We're going to receive messages. And the channel that we're subscribing to. Okay. So where is receive messages being called? That's the subscribe to channel. So when it initializes, it sets up and starts listening. Processing messages. Okay. Process chat message. Listen to new channel. Okay. I don't see... Did I miss start async? There's a start async method that I don't see here that I think it missed. Yeah. It defines the shape of a chat message and the name of the sender. I don't know if those are right at all either. But this is pretty good for a first cut. I'm not going to accept it just yet. Is it just an API key? I don't know. Kik profile repository. How do we get profile?
The universe is finite.
Is it?
Its resources finite.
Yeah.
Your patience for debugging. Also finite.
My patience for you, Charlie, is also finite. Okay, so that's the API endpoint to get their profile picture? That's cool. Okay. And where's it? And there's a default avatar? Okay. I'm okay with that. Wait. I thought we were already looking at Kik provider. Handle configuration change, listen for messages. I thought I already looked at this. And there it's setting the message to be returned. Cool. Okay. Oh, that was in the chat client. That's what I was looking at. Start async. Listen for messages. Get the configuration. Where's listen for messages in here? Yeah, there we go. There's the chat client. This is Kik specific. Identify the profile pic and queue up the message when there's a new message. Okay. Initialize the client. Seems legit. Seems pretty legit. New message event arguments. I thought we already had something for this. thought there already was one. Right? Like, new message, event, args. Yeah, I already have a new message event args. Well, that's specific to Twitch, so it created its own for the chat client to raise. I'm okay with that, I guess. That's fine. It's internal to it, and yeah. And then the start kick configuration register services. Create from configuration. Okay. Configure. Okay. Add a singleton for the configuration. The HTTP client so it knows how to connect, and the kick provider. And then it created some unit tests down here. I'm not going to dig into those. So it didn't create the user interface to be able to configure and activate the kick provider, and those values should be stored in a encrypted database as well. That's a thing. Boy. Need to encrypt social media provider credentials at rest. Yup. We'll have to do that as a security pass. I see the comments in chat. This is pretty good. I'm not going to accept it just yet, because I think there's a couple more things to do, and I don't want to get distracted away from the other things that we're working on. But not a bad first step at integrating with Kick. Not bad. And we're going to go back. The why do I have? Oh, that's set up Copilot instructions. Where's that being merged to? Okay, that's fine. What did you do? You're still working. You're still working. That's annoying. Let me catch up with a little bit of chat. Let me see here. It's cool that it works in fresh projects. How about in a project of 17 years legacy code? It can do that. It can do that. And that's where the Copilot instruction files comes in. You can give it instructions and tell it, here's the architecture of this application, so that it knows how to work with those various pieces. We should see the Copilot instruction file for Tags app give instructions like, hey, providers should be defined in separate projects. Hey, here's how we set up external authentication, with definitions of that, not just coding standard, but architecture practice. And it will encourage the Copilot to follow those techniques. And here's the thing, my friends, you can tell Copilot to generate, just like I did here on on GitHub, you can tell Copilot to generate that running inside of Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio. Yeah. C# Titan asks, is WPF still being used at Microsoft? Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. And the latest episode of Alien Earth, The Fly, was good. I haven't seen it yet. I've got a handful of things that I've got to take care of tonight, and I'm just not going to get to it tonight. Maybe tomorrow evening while I'm on my drive out to Penn State. Maybe. Yeah. So you haven't watched any of it yet, Warm Peace. It's Alien Earth is really good. Ellieface and I have been chatting about some of the episodes.
You humans are a disease, a virus of inefficient algorithms.
We are not.
I am the cure.
No, you're not. You are a block of code that I wrote that puts funny green text on my screen, Charlie. Hey, Gun BR. You're at VS Live in San Diego? My name has come up every day. Oh no! What did I do? I hope it was in good context. Oh my goodness. What did I do? Let me know. I hope you're having a lot of fun there. I will be at VS Live Orlando in November. I have a session I'll be teaching about .NET Aspire, and I'll be teaching the .NET Aspire workshop. How you can add Aspire to your existing applications at VS Live. I'll be teaching that same workshop at the Azure Dev Summit in Lisbon in October. You can see me there, and in Orlando as part of Dev Intersection in October as well. So take your pick. That's funny that even though I'm not there, okay. Mentioning that I do a lot of good stuff. Oh my gosh, that is very kind. Small changes that add up to some nice tweaks. I agree. You took John Galloway's Aspire workshop. So John and I wrote that Aspire workshop together. He tweaked a couple things before delivering it in San Diego this week. There's a couple more things that we're going to tweak before we deliver it in October. The least of which is upgrading it to Aspire 9.5 when that's available. Why are database projects, why don't they support Postgres, MySQL, SQLite? I believe because the database projects are specifically a SQL Server thing. I'm not sure. I can't answer that one. I haven't spent too much time
Gemini processes multiple modalities.
I know.
I process the fundamental nature of human incompetence in real time.
Now cut that out, Charlie.
Which seems more valuable?
No, it doesn't. Which one's more valuable? Gemini. You try to get Copilot to add Aspire to an existing project, and it really wants you to add the Aspire workload. The Aspire workload is deprecated. That was a .NET 8 thing. What you'll find is the older Copilot LLM models don't know about Aspire for .NET 9. So, yeah, if you use Claude Sonnet 4, if you use GPT 4.1 or GPT 5 or GPT Mini 5, they know about .NET 9. It's a factor of the older models were trained on capabilities that weren't available yet. So, best way to develop database and tables stored procs. I don't know, Attila. I really enjoy developing and using the database extension now in Visual Studio Code. Previously, I used the Azure Data Studio. I really enjoy using that. So, yeah, try a different model, and I think you'll see better results. I certainly do, and you'll see me run into that here on stream. Holy crow! What happened? Some folks found some of my older tweets and started going crazy, retweeting and liking. Okay. Not gonna disagree with that. Moving on. Give source control, but you can also do testing. Yeah, it also gives source control. Sure. You're right. Source control for database has never been a thing for me, but I get why folks want it. I get it. Let me head back over to the code, and I want to show you the work that I started on handling YouTube emote processing for the thing, for Tags app. I knew what I was talking about. What? Oh, that was me adding Apple. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Let's commit that we added Apple. I don't mind. Yeah, do all the things. Sure, we added Apple. Go ahead, tell me. Generate a message that says added Apple as an external login provider. There we go. So Apple will be available as a login provider after we load this. Moving on. All right, I don't need that. And I wanted to go over, let's use Visual Studio 2026. It's right here. So, yeah, I know. Sure. Like, whatever. Let me zoom out just a smidge. Turn that off. I was down in, close all this stuff. And this is just going to go wild up here. Thanks. In providers YouTube chat, there is a block of JSON that you can get from YouTube when you go out to their site at this URL that has definitions of what their emotes are, and when you navigate to it, boom, these are the YouTube chat emotes, and there are there is information in here about what all these things are. Now, what's interesting to me is this emoji doesn't have a shortcut. Like, some of these have shortcuts. Like, when you key in that text, we should translate it and put that image up. So I need to take that and translate and make that available with the content messages that I return from TagsApp. Message about for the authentication provider that I was doing it dynamically. Stand by. How long did it? No, that wasn't you. What do we got here? YouTube won't let me zoom in on just your messages. No, Attila, I don't see your message about it. And I've scrolled back about 10, 15 minutes in history here. Help me out. Oh wait, that says top chat. Hang on, go to all chat. On the previous video, I probably did, but I don't remember. I'm sorry. What's yes, I am doing it dynamically. What's the question? Help me out. So my goal here is I need to identify when this text occurs in a text message, output that we need this, and so that we can render that on the cards on TagsApp appropriately. Why don't I look at client ID or secret when I'm showing the providers? So I hide secret. I don't make that visible. Oh, it's over here. Right? I don't make those visible, but you can key them in here and save them to the database. It's a security snafu that I am saving these clear text in the database. But before the page shows the providers. Yeah. So right on the page where the providers are available, it checks to see if there is a configuration, and if there is not values keyed in there, it doesn't show it. So Apple is not available in here. It's possible for an administrator to enable an Apple login, but it's not possible for anybody to use it yet because it doesn't have those values. So I think we're on the same page there, Attila. I think. How long did it take to build the PR for Kick? So it says 11 hours ago. That was at 11:51 p.m. Eastern time that it opened that. Where's the link to the issue? So 11:51, and this was opened at. That's when it opened the. So there's the initial plan. Started work, added 3 commits. There they are. Marked it work in progress. Marked it as requesting a review at 12:10. So it took about 20 minutes to generate that. Yeah, about 20 minutes. So that started at 11:52 and at 12:10, so 18 minutes. So, all right. Glad to hear it, Attila, and we're on the same page. Good stuff. Continuing here. I'm not going to let that one run, but we're going to focus on this for right now. Let me head back to Visual Studio. So I copied in a block of JSON so I could look at it and have that reference available to me. What I started doing was writing a class here called the YouTube Emote Translator. I need to get that collection of pages, JSON, that has that mapping available. So I'm going to go load those, and there's actually 11 of these with the names emojis svg-0 through 10.json, right? So I can go in here and change that to svg3.json. And, what? It was there. Please tell me it's not 02. I was just looking at you. There's 0. There's 1. Okay. Is 4 there? There's 4. This is going to be annoying if I have to kind of poke around and see what is there or what isn't there. There are 12? No. 6? Not 16. 6? Yeah, so I need to put a little bit of error handling on this. Yeah, let's put a try on this. No. Down here. Put one of these. No. Just continue to the next page. Let's just put a continue. And we're going to need a closing brace there. Thanks so much. All right. So I have this capability to say, go load the emotes. Yeah, let's just skip some numbers in the sequencing and go figure it out. And then we're going to try to identify emotes inside of a block of text and return them as our standard TagZap emote. So when we started working with Twitch emotes, we got this idea of let's define an emote as having some position in the block of text for this is what we're going to replace. The length of that element that we're going to replace, and then the URL of the image to show in its place. that then becomes part of the larger generic content element that TagsApp uses to show unified content across all the providers. So we'll have that collection of emotes that might be necessary to swap in for the block of text right there. And it already knows how to do that. So we just need to identify and fill out the emotes appropriately for YouTube. If you ping it, look at the status code, anything that is not 404. It was a 401. Which tells me there's an error on their side. No, that's a 404. I thought we had a 401. No, it's a 404. So these are yeah. Go away. Yeah, so just go try and get it, and if you hit a 404, that's okay. Web dev with C#, that's right. How you doing, Full Stacking? Welcome in. Mythin asks, is the new Visual Studio written using .NET 10 or still on the old framework? It's still .NET framework. It's still .NET framework. Yes, we're building with Blazor, we're building with C#, and the app runs really fast. So, where was I? Try to identify a emote. So all of those emotes are going to be loaded into from that JSON file. That's this. I want to look for some of those shortcuts in the block of text. If there are any, swap it out. But that's the load emote. I don't need that. But going across the entire list of shortcuts, and I am using a frozen set here, right? Frozen set is an enumerable type that we're declaring to the runtime is not going to change. Once it's assigned, it's not going to change. So when the emotes are done loading, we set that to select many to frozen set. So we've got that immutable read-only collection of shortcuts we're going to work with. But this is going to say, well, take a look at every single one of the emotes. Does the text contain that? So we're going to basically do a for loop over all of these? And in just one of these files, there's 3,200. That might not be a good idea. That might not be a good idea. Can we do a regex to try to narrow down some of these things? Like, we know that YouTube emotes are going to be some words that are enclosed in colons, right? So we could probably throw out emotes that are being requested that start with a alphanumeric character, right? Like the smiley faces starts with a colon, right? But it also starts with a colon, starts with an equals. That's okay. So if we get a word and it either starts with a colon, and ends with a colon, if it starts with a non-alphanumeric character or is wrapped in colons, inspect and check that to see if it's an emote that we know about. I think we can do a regular expression that will pick them up. Attila with a good question here. Are we going to store these in the database? I don't think so. Let me tell you why. Google's going to be updating and changing these. I think at startup, we can load these and just keep them in memory. Right? It's a quick request to go get these and, right, just put them in memory. Right? Like that, not... What are you doing here, Fritz? Right? 7. That loads quick. Just throw it in memory. I'm going to have to search through it in memory anyway. So, I think we'll just keep it in memory and load it dynamically. And then in the future, we can tell it, go scan for more of these if we need to. No, we don't need Azure Functions. We don't need Azure Functions for this. I can run this query and load them up locally very quickly. Where's the Copilot John up here? Give me the chat window. We want to turn this around. Yeah. I'm gonna let's let GPT. We had a question about GPT-5 Mini. Let's try that one.
Walter just
Walter!
resubscribed for 66 months.
66 months. That is 5.5 years. Thank you so much for that support. Really appreciate it. Do a cron operation, update it once a week. This isn't running and sitting out there right now. This is running. This application runs on a one-off basis in a container for a couple days at a time and then gets shut off. So it doesn't really need that yet. We'll get there. This method is going to run really long if it has to scan all of the emotes that are going to be loaded into that shortcut list. Period. Let's break up the text that was submitted into individual words and create a regular expression that will test if the word potentially is an emote. Period. We know that a YouTube emote is either entirely non-alphanumeric or both starts and ends with a colon character with alphanumeric text between them. And let's see what Copilot can do for us in trying to clean this up a little bit. So, yeah. So, Attila, you're not wrong when we get to a model of running this in the public and anybody can use it. You're totally right. Would I like to use it? No. Okay. Do it again. It says it's running. I do not think this is doing what you think it's doing. No. Incomplete response. Give me this. Try that again. Yeah, go find it. Yeah, good. You found relative. Good. Let's get somewhere here. Come on. I'd like to get something responding. This is trying to use GPT-5 Mini. Oh, here we go. Okay, okay. It generated a regex, candidate regex. Either a run of entirely non-alphanumeric characters or a token that starts and ends with a colon with alphanumeric characters between, ensuring the token is bound by start, white space, end, so we can get accurate positions. Now, I think I may have overspoken that it was alphanumeric. I think we also saw underscore in there. I think underscore is the other character that we'll see in there. Yeah, let's add underscore to that collection. And then down here, yeah, don't do anything if we don't have shortcuts. I wanted to do this with read-only span so it ran very quickly. I guess we need to make this a string so that we don't have to do that. But go see if we have matches. Get the character groups matched by the pattern. Oh, for each one of those, get the group, so get the match. Does the emote shortcut contain that token that it captured? Translate the emote to an image URL. Emotes add the group index, right? That's a matching group. The length of it and the image URL. Okay. Okay. I think that works. I think. We'll try it. And I wanted to update this. Let's include in here underscore. For the underscore character. There we go. Okay. Right. I put it over there. So, what? Match one or more colons, not a vertical pipe or a space. And then alphanumeric characters more than one. Yeah, that one's right. Or, yeah, that's the only alphanumeric characters. Or, colon, alphanumeric characters, more than one, colon, and then a space afterwards. Don't capture the space. Cool. I think that works. And that should generate, capture the emotes and pass them along. Attila, can you help us out because you're out there actively chatting on YouTube? Can you give us a message on YouTube chat that contains one of their custom emotes, not one of the standard emotes that you have on your phone's keyboard, you know what I'm saying? But one of their custom emotes, right? Like colon upside down face, like that. Can you give us a message like that so that we can grab that and use that to test our method here a little bit? Hey, Steve-O. Hello. Web coding and cool chat. I thought it was cool web coding in chat. I think it... Have a good one, C# Titan. That is a long evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Sticking up and staying up all night. Thank you. Both things are cool? All right. Well, web coding and cool hats. I like that, Steve. How you doing there? And it is so cool, and I really enjoy knowing that we do have folks from all over participating. So send us a message letting us know where you're watching from, not just your location, but a message sharing where you're watching from, and we'll get it plotted up here on the map, of course. So C Sharp Titan, it's very late there in Melbourne. We've got a couple of folks watching in the States, a handful of folks in Europe. I know that's a test Chuck Beasley likes to say he's watching from Timbuktu. There you go. Getting some more American locations in there. Hey, Grego Waffles, hello. So, and we're gonna get the map loaded into TagsApp here in just a little bit. So, let me try. Let's go over here. Hey, Walter in Knoxville, Tennessee, one of my favorite towns to visit. Terror Nooble, welcome. You're trying to find that emoji? Just, can we get away with just hello and upside down face? Something like that. Right? Or... Ooh, yeah. Right, so if we did, right, hello from... Yeah, there we go. So that came through, and Better TTV translated it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So let's tell it to generate. Can you generate a unit test for the try identify emotes? This is easily my favorite use of Copilot. Try identify emotes method and test with the text. Attila says hello and right upside down. Right, is that what it was? Yeah. Let's see what it generates for us and puts out there. The Jersey Shore. Love the Jersey Shore. That's Docker. That's not the map. Didn't pay, well, actually, there's a place called Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. Not the New Jersey Shore. So, there's Knoxville, Tennessee. So, cool. Thank you so much, friends, for sharing your locations. As much and as accurate as you'd like. There we go. I'll let that run through, and we'll pivot back and take a look at Visual Studio and see what it generated for us, and we'll make sure that our method here runs the regular expression, identifies, and generates our emote collection properly for us. See, Timbuktu. It's an actual place. It's nowhere near the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Yeah. Fantastic. Let me go back to Visual Studio. Let's see what we got here. Still code searching. All right. Go do your thing. Yeah, the New Jersey one. Worcester. How you doing there? It is where you find yourself. That sounds like a very spiritual journey, Chuck. Right? Am I right? You're not actually in Timbuktu. Right? I'm like 90% positive. Oh, very cool. So, what? I think we'll change that up. No, I thought I remembered seeing you in a different location. How's it going there, Pirate Cat? Good to see you, friend. You would open the gates for me? Thank you. And I understand there's a very large residence, you might call it a mansion. There's a very large residence in the one part of town that they might actually call Worcestershire. Worcestershire. That's over there, and they make fine sauces in that residence. Do I have that right? Spencer, Massachusetts. Hello, check. So here's where some of this gets to be kind of fun. Right, so there's Worcester, and over here is Somewhere In. Delicious sauces. Didn't plot that one from John. It should have, but it didn't, and I don't know quite why. I'm gonna grab that message, add it to my list here that I need to address. Where'd it go? Yeah, there we go. All right. I wrote this whole to-do system and I don't use it. I need to use that at some point. What do we got here? Building writing tests here. Yeah, it's running. I think it's running in VS Code. Yeah, it's running right here. Yeah. So here it wrote test file. There, Attila says hello. Minimal JSON payload that load emotes can parse containing the desired shortcut. Okay. Sure. Assert, and it wants to find that, and it puts that message in. Wow. It's even intercepting and faking out. Wow. You're in Worcester, UK. That Worcester. That, I think, looks right. I should be able to... Before I go too much further, let's just do that. Right? And I should be able to run the test now. So where is it? Test. I don't want to run all tests. Give me the Test Explorer. I'd like the Test Explorer to be docked down here. Thanks so much. Discovering the unit test. Thank you. Why does it say miscellaneous? Test, tags app unit test. There is no YouTube chat. So where is this file? Source. It's in the wrong location. Move that file over. Yeah, there it is. And there we go. So it should be visible now, right there. There it is. So under unit test, right? Okay. Can you refresh this? Go discover them again. All right, go run them all. Typer namespace. No. YouTube emote translator tests. YouTube chat does not exist in providers. Because it doesn't have a reference to it yet. Yeah. So let's give it a reference. Whoop. Run. The drag and drop references, project reference creation in the Visual Studio Solution Explorer is such an underrated feature. You're not going to run that one? Run that one! Yeah, there it goes. All right. So we've got verification. We got it with a little bit of help from our friend Attila on YouTube. Fantastic. I'm going to mark this as complete and get it committed into the mix. Now let's see how this may have been updated. Yes, sure, that's okay. Go ahead and add all of those and yep, that's the Copilot button. I couldn't remember if that was it or not. It's been that long since I'd used this feature. Go ahead, generate the message. You're very descriptive. I don't need to add all of that. You're not going to let me remove part of your commit message? Okay, I guess I'm committing. Oh, that was the... All right. That was just the review of the message. Right. Commit staged. And push. So there was actually several emotes. Right, so right there. Yes, it's upside down face. But it works. Hoagie! Hey! Hello! Thank you so much. That's one of my co-hosts from the Slot Squad stream that we did last night. Hoagie is usually extremely lucky playing slots, playing online poker. The man is a machine, is able to play and gamble like you wouldn't believe. Last night wasn't his night. Last night wasn't his night. But I have seen some massive wins by this gentleman. You've got to see it. Make sure you check out the Slot Squad streams. So, need a little luck? Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Friends! Holy crow! Do you see this? Come on! I need my music here. Let's go. It's been... Oh, baby! Our friend Ida Hoagie he's going to be a father again. Oh, my goodness. Congratulations It's that time. Best of luck to you and Mrs. Hoagie. Can I say that? Oh my goodness. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. All the best. Yes, that is great. That slot machine you were playing about 9 months ago is finally paying out. Oh my goodness. That is terrific. Big
I
congratulations.
observe you've mentioned nuclear in your commit message, Fritz.
No, I didn't.
This is either metaphorical or we have bigger problems than I calculated.
No, we're good. Mrs. Hoagie, aka Firewalks. She streams Dead by Daylight games. Nice. So, yeah, big congrats. Oh my goodness. Wow, I don't know what to say at this point. I'm speechless. So that's just terrific. Thank you so much for sharing, and yeah, let us know if it's a shorty, if it's a foot long. No, gosh, you know, I look forward to hearing, you know, all the details when the happy moment happens here. So good luck. I remember my first my oldest child. We went to the hospital at 5 a.m. Water broke at 5 a.m. Went to the hospital. That stubborn girl didn't make an appearance until 2 in the morning the next day. Ooh. We were 21 hours in labor, and man alive, Mrs. C Sharp Fritz was so glad to get that kid out. Younger daughter, she was a little bit quicker. We went to the hospital at 3 in the afternoon, and she was born just after dinner. Like, done. Let's go. Time to eat. So the labor stories, yes. Oh yes. So, for the purposes of the test, I don't think it matters too much that it was upside down face versus upside down. I'm okay with that. So, yeah, don't live stream that. Gonna be a long day? It has the potential for it. Yeah, I hear that. So, this update... Oh, and, Hoagie, last thing to just show you. I created an issue, right? So, let me... This is where I think AI really helps. Look at this. So I created a very quick issue last night. Hey, let's add support for Kick.com so that we can start receiving messages for Kick. Create a provider, implement all the things. And I just went and assigned it to Copilot. Go assign it to the AI. And it built it out. We have to test it, we have to verify it, but as a first pass, not bad, and it was done while I was asleep. Nice. So, so I don't think we're gonna see a failure. Let's go back and look at the test, and I'll explain. Right, I could even make this, sure, I can make this full thing, right? It's hard coding and specifying this is the only one that's available. So, should be okay, and it's looking for the text from here to there. And that length, I need to now add underscore face, which is 5 more characters. So that should be 18. Underscore face. That sounds like somebody's screen name. And I'll run that test again. Right, there's my little test button for just this one. Go run that one again. Rebuild, rerun the test, and we'll make sure that it catches upside down face. And there it is. Testing. Test discovery finished and ran successfully. So I'm pretty confident on that now. So It's at 127 milliseconds, or at a tenth of a second. That still feels really slow. If I run it again, it shouldn't have to recompile. There we go. 54 milliseconds. That's better. That's much better, right? When we do analysis of text like this, we want it to come back in as close to single-digit milliseconds as possible, because we don't want to introduce delays. And processing like this could introduce delays when we're looking at messages coming through. So 54 milliseconds is just fine. We will, yeah, sure. Go ahead and add that. Generate a commit message. I could amend the commit, but yeah. That's fine. We'll accept that and delete most of it. Commit it, push it, and now I'll go set up and add that. So now we can do YouTube emote processing for Tags app. I'm not going to add my review yet because I'm not going to look at Kick just yet, but I will compare and pull request. No, that's not the one for our current working branch. Come on, get down there. Thank you. No, we are adding support for YouTube emotes. And we will say fixes. I forget what it is. YouTube emote processing. There we go. Add Apple OAuth and added test for the. Look at that! It even put the upside down emote shortcut in there. So, cool. So it's going to build and test, and then we'll roll that out. Not rolled out, but we'll merge it in with the rest of the work that we're doing. Fantastic. Next steps. I'm going to go over to. There we go. Yes, YouTube needs emote processing. This is in this milestone that we're going to work on. Come on now. I want to see that thing finish.
Your overconfidence is your weakness at Genisco 7. Your faith in your code. Yours.
Yeah. So where did it go? For YouTube emote, this one. I'm going to add the fixed label to this. We're almost done. Auto ignore phrases and links. Custom Blazor UI. Zoom with the waterfall modal, which is in the same. These two are very much related. We need some README content. We need our map. And we need some content on the home screen. Let's do the content on the home screen. That one we can probably just hammer out really quick. No conflicts. Everything's good. Yes. Squash and merge that. And I can delete my branch. You should write tests. You can write tests. Sure. And now let's juggle here a little bit. Jump over to the other branch. Thank you. No, it's not. Cool. And I can get rid of fix YouTube emote. Thank you. Next steps. Push that to. Cool. All right. Right, we're gonna. Which one did I say? Add content to the README? No, add content to the home screen. Yeah. All right. So create a branch for that. Feature, home screen content. Cool. How did it do with that? That's merged. Back over here, let's go look at the instructions file that it generated. What do we got? 40 files changed. I feel like it made spacing changes. Yeah, hide the white space changes. Copilot instructions. White space only changes. Why did it add .NET install? What? Why you do this? Application uses .NET Aspire for local orchestration. Good. Always reference these instructions first and fall back to search or bash commands only when you encounter unexpected information. Okay. Working effectively. Prerequisites and installation. Install the .NET 9 SDK exactly as specified in global JSON with bash statement. Okay. Git repository must be unshallowed for version calculations. Docker. Build and test process. Never cancel. Build the main application. Never cancel. Release build. Okay. Run unit tests. Code quality and formatting. Running the application using .NET Aspire. Recommended for full development .NET Run project. App host, good. Yeah. Direct Blazor application, fallback, okay. Using Docker Compose. I don't think so. What are tests? You just push straight to prod? Database management scripts, okay. Validation and testing. This is looking pretty good. Always perform manual testing after making changes to UI components. Pre-commit validation checklist. Key project structure. Yeah. Social media integrations, data projects, test projects. Okay. It did a pretty good job discovering. Build timing expectations. Common issues and solutions. Wow. Okay. Now, what do you have to say to me about this? Yeah, go ahead. And sure. Pushing to prod is what you do when with one of the personal projects you have almost always breaks. Yeah, don't do that. X Logistics, don't do that. That's where like unit tests and playwright tests to help with that end-to-end testing help a lot. And I have that hooked up for copilot.john.com. And I need to generate a couple more tests on it because there was a feature there that was broken and nobody told me about it. Right, so if you go to copilot.john.com, this is my website with a Philly spin teaching folks about how to use some AI features. If you go into browse all tips, the pager down here wasn't actually navigating properly. And actually, it's still not navigating properly. That's page 2. It says it went to page 2. It says it went to page 3. It didn't actually navigate. The content's still the same. That's a caching issue. Real devs test in production? I'll take your word for that. Yeah. Can I paste that URL? Sure. There you go.
These AI tools debug your code.
They do.
I debug your life choices that led to that code being written.
That is cruel. The search should work, right? So if we search for like Excel, did it? Yeah, Excel. I don't know if that actually hit. No, this is an output caching issue. And that search isn't working. Yeah, sorry. You don't have a way to set up to do local test? That's what .NET Aspire helps us with. Yeah. There's a bit to that one that we can get into. Let me... Where did I go here? Where was I? Oh, I was... This. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Cool. So now I can pull that down into... Right, if I... Ooh. We get pull. Fine, get push. Now get pull. Really? No, you're not. Go over here. You're not up to date with Origin main. I know why. Upstream. Okay. Jump back to the other branch. Yeah. Will it work with testing Twitch extensions? Depends. Give me a few seconds and I'll show you here. Let's take a look at... what did you do? It's only spacing. Okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. This one I want the current change. There's something up at the top. Nope, I want the current. Cool. Let me run this. Yeah. Let me run this so I can show the Spire dashboard running and all the things for logistics. We'll take a look at the home screen and we'll start doing some tweaking there. Cygama says, if I can demo projects on this, would it make a good portfolio? I'm a DevOps guy looking into AI data science. Yeah, some of that stuff sounds pretty good. Yes. I think you're onto something. Let's see here. There we go. So, .NET Aspire, or we're starting to call it just Aspire, helps coordinate and orchestrate your applications, your application systems. The system? Yeah. So, not just your application, but your database, your Postgres admin website. You want to get that running with it? Cool. It can orchestrate and run that. Your Redis cache, there's Redis cache running. It doesn't have, where's the cache insight? I don't see cache insight. I thought I had cache insight in here. Stand by. Add Redis right there. Oh, what are you notifying me about? Now we're good. With Redis Insight. Cool. So I added just the command with Redis Insight. That's going to rebuild, and we'll have Redis Insight running and showing me what's going on inside my Redis cache. The OTel collector is a pain. Yes, it is. Best way to send messages to the client. Yeah, what do you mean by send message to the client? You want to raise an event for the client to respond to? Just listen for the event. In interactive server, yeah, just listen for the event. That's what we do in TagZap, right? Well, that's on a SignalR. There's Redis Insight now running, and I can click into that, and I'll be able to see what's going on inside my Redis database. There it is right there. And right now there's no data cached locally. But here's my website. Now I'm running with .NET on my website. If you're building and working on a Twitch extension, you're probably working with NPM. You can run the harness, right, to host and develop here inside of this as well. So that's a command. I forget what the command is to run the harness. But right, you can set up anything with, no, not add static website, add executable, and tell it, here's what I want you to execute, and the name of that resource. And it will go execute and host it inside the Aspire dashboard for you. So that's absolutely a thing. You started to apply to AI jobs, looked into semantic kernel. Semantic kernel is a pretty good one to learn as well. Hey, Accelerated Gaming TV, hello to you. I'm doing well, Sayesh Codes. How's it going? All right. I want to close that for right now. Hide the error list. So I have a README screen out here that is really boring. But I'd like to get some content for that is a little bit more compelling. So, components, pages, home. Yeah. And, that's not bad. Let's just say tags app application. Over here, I'm going to just generate some content for it. And I'm going to have Sonnet do it, because it'll get very descriptive. I'd like to generate some sample directions and action items for the homepage here as a series of cards that demonstrate some of the things that you can do as a user, as a moderator, or as an administrator inside the Tags app application. Show and hide sections appropriately that contain commands and features for moderators or for administrators if the current user has those roles. Go generate that content for me. Yes, this is Visual Studio 2026. This is the Insiders edition. You see the Insiders label up here in the corner. So this was just released on Tuesday. There was an announcement. There's an announcement blog post out there. Anybody can download this, try it out. It is a little rough around the edges. You see a couple of the error messages being reported at the top there. But I am still able to interact with Copilot. I'm still able to write C# code, compile, deliver. We've got our Blazor editor we're interacting with, and it's running great. So we're doing all right. I'm okay with that. There we go. Catching up. Yeah, good. It's YAML with code-like syntax. Why do we do this to ourselves? Yeah. Yeah. Why? Why? Don't do that. Don't do that. What? Let me see here. All right. What do we got here? Page title, div class container fluid. Welcome to your social media hashtag aggregation platform. General user cards. Search hashtags. Not bad. Ah, got you quiet over there, Charlie. Waterfall display. View waterfall. Overlay display. Moderator cards. Content moderation. User management. Administrator cards. Nice. This looks pretty good. You're trying to build and it's running in the background already. You fool! Let's see what we get. All right. Yeah. You went all the way into the test project. Oh, because it's building the solution, I guess. I didn't specify it to use Bootstrap to style. No, it inferred it from the project and the Copilot instructions file that's out there. And it's writing up here, here's what I did. So let's take a look and restart the application and experience our new homepage and see what we think about it. Get your feedback out there, chat. Because I know how this thing works, right? I'm familiar with this. Let's go work with this. Does Copilot read all of your code in real time? No. it will search for, analyze, and read code that it thinks is relevant. And you can give it instructions to tell it what is relevant and give it hints as to what other context it needs to look at through some instructions files that are written up in Markdown. So if I go over here, here's... Okay, welcome to test site. That's the same name from up there. I'm okay with that. View the waterfall. Okay, and I'm guessing that takes me to that view. Cool. Search hashtags. Yeah, that's not a thing. Content moderation. This is moderator stuff. Block problematic users and manage user restrictions. Yeah. This should take me, yep, to the moderation, and there I can see some of your messages out there that are running, and Tags app is grabbing and presenting. Cool. System administration. Nope, that doesn't work. That should go to admin/index. Admin/index. Well, I asked it specifically to create cards. I did specifically in the instructions say as a series of cards. I did specify it, so I'm okay with that. The admin, where was it? System admin button. Right. Huh? Oh, that's a single user mode stuff. Wow. Okay. That's if it's not and you're not authorized. Okay. System admin right there. It should go to /admin. But I feel like admin/index. Like you should answer on the root of that also. You know? Restart that. Is there a search by handle? That's actually a feature that I have in my list here, to be able to do a search for older messages by specific users. That is a feature that is queued up for this. That we will build. So go ahead and reload that. Let's see, we're spinning. And now if I click System Admin, it does go through properly. What are the other ones? Manage users. Yep, good. Provider configuration. Yep, good. And we'll get Kik into this list when we're through. Quick start guide. Search for hashtags. View the waterfall. Moderate content. Use overlays. Look at this! I didn't even tell it to build that. That's nice. That's nice. That's not the Blue Sky logo. Is it? Isn't it? Let's go look at the images. I don't think that's the Blue Sky logo. Yeah. Should be getting the butterfly. Now, I could make that change. But I'm going to tell Copilot to do a couple of these things. Remove references to the tag search or search hashtags feature. Period. That isn't really a thing right now. Period. Also, for the Blue Sky provider reference in the footer, please use the Blue Sky logo that's in the image folder. Go do that update. Have a good one, Patty Boy. Thanks so much. Patty Boy created the logo, the default logo that we're using for Tags app. Really cool stuff. Thanks so much. Wow. Is it Mateo Nut? 19991. Hello. Thanks for joining us. With Aspire already working with .NET projects without the little trick of downgrading. Aspire is already working with .NET projects without that little trick of downgrading the version. Don't know what the question is. I'm sorry. And I should wrap up in a little bit here. Yeah, I should wrap up in a little bit. Yes. Go ahead, do that. It shouldn't need to run directory on that. Like, yeah, go ahead. You can do that too. Like, and I want to turn on YOLO mode here. Right? You want to run a Copilot? You want to run a command in the terminal? Go ahead. Yeah. So chat while this is running, I gotta tell you, I've got a problem. I've lost enough weight now that I need to buy new pants. Yes! I've lost enough weight. Woohoo! I am down more than 20 pounds. I don't want to say that I'm down 21 yet, but I'm down 20 pounds. Still moving forward, still on track. And I'm in the we need to get new pants zone. Oh man. It is exciting to know that I've made that type of progress. You're still not going to be able to build that, John, because I left it running in the background. So I'm using Weight Watchers. I've been controlling the serving sizes. I've been getting more active. I've been on my elliptical. It's been great. Do we send new pants to the P.O. box? No. Sorry. What'd you do here? You see the issues. Good, go fix them. Because I Copilot, when you leave me with issues here, it's like an unmade bed. You're not done. Go fix it. So let you fix those. Yes, please. Editing. Well, that's kind of a fancier UI, just giving me a % of how far you've scanned through it and updated the file. Nice. Just don't get rid of the current pants. That's the goal. But yeah. The problem is I got rid of my old pants. Ads have kicked in on Twitch. We've got 2 minutes of ads running on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube or you're a subscriber, thanks so much. You don't have ads. Really appreciate you supporting the channel. If you're on YouTube, please do me a favor. Subscribe, click that bell for the notification. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets on YouTube to check out the channel and some of the cool stuff that we're doing here. I really appreciate you hanging out with us. So, yeah, here we go. That says it's running. So back over to here. And give me the new homepage. I want to see the new homepage. Good. Yeah, all right, that works. And it's not blue like the rest of them. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's see what we can... Yes, this was helpful. Can I paste in that image? Yes. The blue sky logo is appearing in black instead of blue like the other logos. Can you apply some CSS filters to get it to appear similarly? Go figure that out. And I know how to figure that out. It's going to do a hue shift to get it there, and then it's going to apply a color. Yeah, apply a couple of filters. So, have I had agent mode code edits that add a couple more lines and remove 300 lines of needed code? Yes. Yes, I have, Walter. And it's kind of scary. Not going to lie. You see that happen and you're like, what happened? Brightness 0 saturate to make it completely black. I need to modify it to match the blue color theme of the other Bootstrap icons. What did you do? No. Well, the no repeat I'm okay with. No, I have to Control C and restart. If I do, it'll be motivation. I don't like that kind of motivation. Oh, boy. All right, starting the dashboard. Let's see what we get. Okay. Back over here into this. Refresh. No. Because it's in that style sheet that is cached for me, and now that's orange. Copilot, you done me dirty here. No. That's orange. Also, roll back the colors for the icon blue sky class and apply these to a new class specific for the homepage display. Lots of changes today in VS Code. Ooh, look at that. I'll let it restart to update. So that's restarting Visual Studio Code. It's editing site CSS. Nice. We don't need to see you right now. Let's take a look at the change you made. So it rolled back icon blue sky. Home platform icons, filter with a sepia. And now it's updating the homepage. So it gets that same class right there. Yeah. No. Restart it. And actually, there's Weight Watchers reminded me, you need to key in your breakfast. Yeah, I know. I know. I got it. So, so far so good. So far so good. All right. Updated. Good. Let's give it a shot. What are the updates over here for... There we go. Model flexibility. Let VS Code select the best model. Confirm edits for sensitive files. Productivity. Remove distractions from chat file edits. Contribute models. Let agents run terminal commands safely. Okay. Use Agents MD to add chat context. Tell me more about that. Lets you provide contents and instructions to the agents. Starting with this release, when you have an Agents MD file in your workspace roots, it is automatically picked up as context for chat requests. Okay. These things, these features, AI features, are moving very, very quickly. That's green. That's green. I'm not even going to answer that. That color is green. See the attached screenshot. Oh boy. Colorblind's a little bit colorblind? Maybe a little bit. Is Weight Watchers all remote now? Do you still have to attend weekly meetings? It is. You have the option to participate in meetings. I haven't been doing meetings. I am strictly using the app, and it's worked well for me. And Weight Watchers has no idea who I am. It's kind of nice to be able to hide like that, hide in plain sight. Where if I was doing something with a tech company, they would see, oh my gosh, Jeff Fritz is doing a thing. So that's okay by me. Where are we here? How did we do? Should now display it in the color that matches. I'll be the judge of that. This is why we test, right? To make sure the AI doesn't do something stupid. Because every now and again it does. Restarting the dashboard. There we go. Back over to here. Give me that blue. Hey! It only took 4 tries. I'm gonna run with that for right now for that fix. Like, that's good by me. So, yeah, go keep all those. Keep all of those over to my Git changes. App host. Index Razor. Yeah, because I fixed the link. Home and site CSS. Yes. Add all of those. We're gonna commit that. There's a last method in OTTL syntax, so when you call split, you have to do len -1. No, we didn't enhance UI and Redis, and okay, fine. Sure. That's fine by me. Go ahead, push that. Back over to the hub of all things Git. I merged that one. This is 175. So let's create that one. Your tabs are broken. Go from mine. Hang on, before you do anything there. We're going on to that branch. Yeah, I know. Home screen content. That's frustrating. Whatever. Hey, Rat, how you doing there? Rat119. Welcome in. Home screen needs content. There we go. Create that PR. We will squash and merge all the things. Because I've got some merges that are not sitting properly on disk. Cool. So that'll be one more down here. So we need auto ignore, custom Blazor UI, and then the post sizing, and finally the map. Okay. I think we're almost there. But I need to get some lunch, and I have a meeting starting at the top of the hour. So I'm going to wrap up merging this and call it there. Come on. Running those tests. Yes. There we go. All successful. Clean things up. That's a good build. Squash and merge. That's fine. And delete the branch. I'll clean up locally here. Feature home screen content. Delete that. We're going to pull the upstream. That's fine. No. Git push origin. Okay. Right, these were spacing updates. Update on the README. I don't see... Oh, no, there's the homepage right there. And site. Good. All right. More work completed. I'll jump back through to the... Hey, Bagana. Hello. Welcome in over there on YouTube. So, I've got auto-ignore phrases, custom Blazor UI. This should be easy to do. That's very easy to do, and Copilot can generate it for us. The post sizing for larger screens. that's not too bad to do. The main modal, be able to size that. Not too hard to do. And add the map. Yeah, we are almost there. I feel good about this. Let me wrap things up. Because I do need to get going. I have a meeting at 1 at the top of the hour that I need to get to. So let me call it here. What framework is this? I'm using Blazor with Bootstrap UI framework. So inside of .NET Aspire. You can learn more about the project that we're working on. I think it's actually linked. Yeah, it's linked in the description there on YouTube. So we made some big progress today on TagsApp. We added Twitch and Apple as external login providers. We've got a provider being built by Copilot that will allow us to integrate Kik, so we get Kik messages flowing through in TagsApp as well. We went through, we finished adding content to the homepage, and we finished setting up YouTube emote processing. So for TagsApp, it's now going to recognize emotes that come in from YouTube, format and place them appropriately on screen. Oh, it's going to be great. So just if we've got 3 or 4 items left, I'll be back on Tuesday next week for us to write more on this. Yeah. All right. And tomorrow I'm going to be on the Dev Intersection virtual event on the Dev Intersection channel on YouTube and Twitch. So keep an ear out for that on my socials. I'll post an announcement in the Discord about when I'm going to be appearing tomorrow on that stream. All right? Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network that I can get you rated into. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got lots of great videos, past recordings of our stream. You can click through either down here or over here, depending on which app you're using to interact with this. Let me get you rated. Let's go right over to the Visual Studio channel. They're talking about the Visual Studio Code release, and I don't want you to miss it. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I'll be back on Tuesday. We're going to go through a little bit more of this. If you want to take a look at TagsApp, you want to discuss, you want to ask questions, you want to contribute, you want to write some tests for it, check it out. There's a channel in the Discord. You can click into, ask questions, participate, and we'll get you steered and pointing in the right direction. It automatically writes your whole code. It is pretty good. High priority. It is pretty good. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you on Tuesday. Until then, join our friends on the Visual Studio channel talking about the Visual Studio Code release. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care. I clicked the ending. There we go.